For our first project this week, we're going to be looking at online databases. Sur La Lune, All Things Fairy Tale, is this really impressive database of online fairy tale resources. It has annotated tales, illustrations, blogs, lists of secondary sources, and stuff you can buy. So, we're going to go to this site and we're going to not just see what it has to offer, but think about the experience of being online with these tales. What's the difference of reading a tale on one of these websites where you can use a link that jumps to further information about what that word, what that situation might have meant in the time in which it was written, and the experience of just reading that story in a book as a kid. And then through thinking about these experiences, we are going to be posting our activities. And more than that, thinking about how we can transform our papers into these online spaces, really utilizing them for what they were made for, or trying to use them in new and different ways. So let's look at Sur La Lune. First thing I want you to notice are all the tabs up here: Home, Introduction, Annotated Tales, More Tales, Illustrations, Bookstore, and Blog. You'll be especially looking here at the annotated tales, the illustrations, and the blog. So for the annotated tales, they are listed alphabetically. Let's jump to a popular one like Cinderella. And when we get there, this is what an annotation is. It's these blue links where it brings up a description of what that term means. Sometimes it has information that goes back to the particular audience or author for the literary text that it's looking at. So for example, this Cinderella comes from Andrew Lang's Blue Fairy book, originally published in 1889. And so the references here are going to relate to Great Britain in 1889. And the links will convey that. So what is that experience of reading a text? And how could we use something like that? So if you are looking at a passage in a text and you want this to be part of your online presentation, maybe breaking it up, could you also make annotations like this where it jumps to another link, another explanation for what a term or what an idea means? And does that, as you're reading it, break away from, even as it is explaining the meaning of the passage, does it break away from the wonder of the story? The wonder that you felt as a kid just hearing this and kind of the flow of it, if you stop and analyze as you're going. These are things to think about as you are creating your online space. What do you want the experience to be? What is the purpose of this presentation that you're creating? And perhaps to fulfill that purpose, you're going to need to do it one way and another way at the same time, different choices that the user could make. So you're going to look at the annotated tales, you're going to look at illustrations, and here you can actually look at all the illustrations for a single tale. So here are Cinderella illustrations. Now, when you are looking at these Cinderella illustrations, is this different than viewing these alongside the text in a book? What is that difference? Does it sort of break up the wonder? Or does it allow you to use this as a more analytical tool, where now I've read the text of the story and thought about the story without the illustration, and then thought about how different illustrations would change the meaning of that same text because they've been separated out for me? So much about the meaning of an online space is not just what is available there, but what decisions we as users make while we're on that space, because it is an interactive site in a way that, say, reading a novel or even watching a movie is not interactive. Think about all these things as you prepare for Activity 1. I look forward to your answers.